Wait, this is dirty. Wait, Aladdin, and then I'm gonna clock so I can attack for his turn. I'm gonna take away 2 lore. Dude, this is Giga. Bro, this is so good. Bam. Let's go. So let's talk about the meta. Ruby Amethyst Control is one of the most powerful decks right now in Disney Lorcana's release. The deck revolves around drawing cards and total field control. Now, before we get started, let me know what you think the best Ruby card is. Now, in my opinion, I think it's between Maleficent and Be Prepared. Be Prepared is such a good card. It's one of the only major field control cards, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And then Maleficent is a 9 cost with 2 lore, and also it can just take out 1 unit when it comes out. It's very, very oppressive. It's very, very hard to deal with once it hits the field. Now, let's talk about the core of this deck. The core of this deck has to be the 9 cost Maleficent. Once you get this card out, it takes away one of the opponent's cards. It's also 2 quest lore, and it's also very, very tanky and very, very hard to deal with. Be Prepared is also another hard control card. Be Prepared is one of those cards where it just clears the whole field, so you can quest and then clear the whole field. If your opponent has a lot of things that they've been cooking for a while, like a rush down deck or something that's focused around a certain card unit, Be Prepared just completely clears that up. Your opponent might be at a hand disadvantage now because most of their cards are on the field when Be Prepared hits. It's one of those very, very strong controlled cards that gives a lot of advantage towards you, and it gives you a lot of options once you hit it. Friends from the Other Side, I think one of the best Amethyst cards. Anything that's draw 2 cards, especially when it's a 3 cost, when it's draw 2, it is very, very powerful. If you think about games like Yu-Gi-Oh, cards like Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, things that let you draw 2 cards ended up getting banned. Friends from the Other Side kind of gives you that feeling because it's just so much hand control. You can play it. You can have a 3 cost character sing it. It's very, very easy to get it for free. You can sing for 2 cards. You can play 3 ink for 2 cards. It's very, very good. You can play 4 of them in your deck. Well, technically it's a 12 card mill of your deck right there, just because 4 Friends of the Other Side plus the 8 cards you're drawing. Elsa and Aladdin are very, very strong as well. Let's start with Elsa. So Elsa, when she hits the field, I'm talking about the big Elsa, not baby Elsa, but big Elsa. Once a big Elsa hits the field, it immediately allows you to exert 2 of the cards, which allows you to either set up attack combos, or it can just stall out the cards for another turn. The cards do not get readied up after the following turn, so it could stop cards from questing. Let's talk about Aladdin. Aladdin, when shifted up from Street Rat Aladdin, is very, very powerful. A lot of times when you can challenge the same turn and take out a card and then -2 lore plus 2 lore for yourself is a ginormous positive. If you just think about it this way, the Aladdin card is -2 lore for your opponent plus 2 lore for you -1 of their cards on the field, one of the characters. It is a very, very powerful card if you can combo it correctly and play it in the right. Alright, so let's talk about the pros and cons of a control deck. Now, the pros of the control deck is you draw a lot of cards. Drawing a lot of cards give you hand advantage. It gives you a lot of options. Always very, very powerful in a lot of trading card games, right? Field control is also very powerful in the control deck. You have cards like Be Prepared, Dragonfires, and you have a lot of rush attackers such as Mauis and Rafiki to basically just control the whole field. Your opponents have to be very careful when they quest, when they attack you, because you can always summon something like Mauis and attack turn 1 with rush and take out their card. The only cons of this deck so far I've seen is very, very long games against other control deck. So sometimes the games can end up lasting 30 minutes to 40 minutes depending on the other person's deck, because both of you are just controlling each other very, very hard. You're drawing a lot of cards, so you have a lot of options, but you both can't do anything. So I've been seeing games getting drawn out a lot for control decks. I think the longest game I had was like 40 minutes, and it was ended by a deck out. Let's talk about deck objectives. So the goal of this deck is to ink and draw cards. So you want to easily control the game with Maleficents, Be Prepared, Dragonfires later on. In most situations, you should have a big hand advantage over your opponent. Your opponent should have very limited resources to answer your cards in the late game. Once you have the advantage, you can easily quest with the cards such as Elsa, Maleficent, Aladdin. Also, Aladdin is a very suppressive card on your opponents. If Aladdin does banish a card, it does steal 2 lore from your opponents. You get plus 2 lores. It is a very, very powerful card to start racking up lores. Your opponent has to do something to answer Aladdin. They can't just be questing for free when there's Aladdin on the field. For a lot of rushdown decks that quest for very low amount of lore, Aladdin's like the perfect counter for it, because if you quest with Lilo for 2 and then Aladdin just banishes Lilo, you basically just plus 2 things minus their 2. It's a lot. Alright, so let's talk about the deck list. So you want to play Maleficent. She's the main core of your deck. You want to get her out once you have enough. You can play 2 White Rabbit Pocket Watches. It's inkable and it also gives character rush effect, so it gives you that extra option, but mainly I use it just to ink. You want to play 4 Maleficent 3 costs that allows you to draw cards. Once again, anything that allows allows you to draw cards that let you go through your card a lot quicker, so you can look for things like Be Prepared, Dragon Fires that control your opponent's deck. Play 2 Olafs. It's basically ink. 2 Rafikis, one of the best rushdown characters. Generally a 2-for-1 trade when Rafiki comes out based on his stats. You can normally attack a character, banish it, and then they have to trade out your Rafikis. Play 3 Aladdin 7 cost. Is very good when shifted from normal Street Rat Aladdin. +2, -2 lore, -1 character on their field. This is a very, very strong card. You want to play 3 Street Rat Aladdins. Street Rat Aladdins, when played, does minus a lore, so it's pretty good for controlling your opponent's lore. Also can be shifted into Big Aladdin, so why not? 4 Friends from the Other Side, one of the best cards in this deck. Once again, 3 costs, draw 2 cards, very, very powerful. You play 3 Baby Elsas. It's inkable, it trades up into Big Elsa. This might be one of the cards that you can flex a little bit. I don't think Baby Elsa is that good. The effect of freeze is not so great unless you want to freeze a card and then have another card attack it. You play 4 Mauis. It is inkable and it's a big time trade card. It does have rush. You want to use these big rush cards to trade. Maui is going to be a minimum 2-for-1 trade. He has so much defense. He has a lot of attack. He can take out a lot of the big tanky cards that the opponents might have. If you don't have Dragon Fire, you don't have Be Prepared. It's just one of those things that just really stomps the opponent's field. You want to play 4 Dragon Fire. This is basically a removal of an enemy character. It is very, very good. It's a target removal. There's not many things in the game right now that block target removal. There are some cards that do that, but that's why you play Be Prepared. You can play 2 Jafars. It is inkable, and sometimes you do end up with a lot of cards in your hand, so Jafar does become very, very overpowered. So in those situations, you do want to play Jafar rather than ink him, but a lot of times you will just be inking Jafar, and it's another option that's in your deck. You can play 2 Shields of the Virtue. It's inkable and allows you to re-ready your cards. If there's situations you want to keep your cards protected after questing or attacking, you can use 3 ink to re-ready your cards so your opponents can't attack it. You can play 3 Big Elsa. I think one of the top 10 cards for sure. It's a very good effect. When it is played, you can immediately exert 2 of your opponents. So what happens is you can play it to exert the cards. They cannot be readied up the following turn, which is very good to stop your opponents from questing if they need a few quests to win. Or it's also very, very powerful from stopping opponents answering anything that you might be doing on the field at the same time. If you have other cards, challenge those cards that you just exerted. So it gives you a lot of options. Big Elsa, I think one of the top 10 cards for sure right now. You want to play 4 Be Prepared. It's probably the best card in the game right now. It's a dark hole effect from Yu-Gi-Oh players. It clears all characters on the field. It gives a lot of options where you can quest and then clear characters on the field. If your opponents are cooking anything, as we mentioned earlier, they're doing a rush down deck, it clears the whole field. If they're trying to get combo set up, it clears the whole characters. It is very, very powerful. And there's no answer to it because a lot of cards will block single target effects, but there's nothing that can negate Be Prepared at the moment. So it is an unanswered character clearing card right now. You can play 2 Magic Mirrors. I think it's a very good card. I know some people don't think it's a great card, but once again, anything that allows you to draw cards. Some people will be like, well, 6 ink to draw 1 card. Well, technically 6 ink to draw your first card and it's 4 ink for cards after that. I think anything that gives you the option to draw cards is very powerful. Once again, it's the option to draw cards. If you don't have anything else to do and you have a lot of ink, you can always start if you're current with an extra card. That gives you so many options. I think the people who are arguing that is not a good card is not considering the fact that the option to draw cards is very, very powerful, especially when you have a lot of ink. You can play 2 Dr Facilier 7 costs. It allows you to bounce cards into your hand. I think it's very good when comboed with things like Aladdin, which you could bounce Aladdin back into your hand and then resummon it again. It's good for things like Maleficent, so you can bounce it back in your hand and summon it again to draw another card. It is pretty tanky and it does quest for a little bit, so it's one of those cards where having on the field, people, they have to kind of answer it. Otherwise, it's very hard when they try to challenge your other cards because they get bounced back into your hand. You can play 3 Dr Facilier 2 costs. It's inkable. It does have a challenge boost, so it is pretty good when you need to take off a card on the opponent's side of the field. Play 4 Gastons. Gaston is an inkable 1-for-1 trade. He is a heavy hitter, very low armor, but basically what you want to do is just trade out a card with Gaston. It is pretty cheap to get Gaston on the field. It's also inkable, so there's a lot of options you can do with him as well. You can play 3 Donald Duck. It's an inkable 2/3. One of the better 2-cost cards in the game with 2/3. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, but let me know what do you think of this deck in the comments below. I'm going to be posting way more Disney Lorcana content in the coming week, especially with release coming this week. It's going to be very interesting to see what everyone else has cooking in their decks. So much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and leave a comment down below, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time and enjoy the rest of this clip. Oh, this is dirty. Wait, this is dirty right here. Bam. Yeah. That was dirty. Yeah, give me those lore. Give me those lore.
Well, now, yeah, now he has to do something because now, you know, you're in kind of. I'm minimum. Plus, like he doesn't know because well I'm technically like a +2, so he has to summon something. Okay, so that's gonna -1 for me. I can Elsa turn him, attack him again. I can Elsa turn him and then what's a call and then yeah, turn 1 attack. That's 14. That's 4. That's 10. That's 2. That's perfect. So we're just gonna Elsa. So I'm gonna freeze and I'm gonna freeze. Right. So then I can kill. Oh no, I can't kill. I should just kill. That'll drain him. Yeah, so I'll just do that. So that drains. So he can't do it on me, right? I get that. Nice. Hello? Pocket watch. I'm just gonna attack because she can't do anything anyways. There we go. And then I'm magic mirror. Oh, another magic mirror. Right. Oh, he can't kill my Elsa. Oh, well, he can. Like he has to like summon like a Maleficent or something, where he has to like. Oh, be prepared. There you go. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so that's I threaten with 1, I guess. Oh, Aladdin. Hello. Gaston. Hello. I'm probably just gonna be prepare him. I'm just gonna go for 1, be prepared. Let's see what I draw. If I could draw something that does 2, then we're good. Or I can just summon this, turn, and blast. That works too. I'll probably do that. I'm just gonna win. I'm not gonna toy around with them. Be prepared. It's way too tory. I'm just gonna summon, turn the defense. Both of these guys. I'm gonna go for 8. He can't do anything with him next turn. Like I'll attack a Gaston or something, I guess.